Alright, quick update on Optimism, ticker symbol OP. I made a TA update on this about 48 hours ago down here, and we had a bearish price prediction. Actually, we were talking about almost a 33% drop playing out. There are a few reasons why we saw this coming into fruition. We had failed inverse head and shoulders. We had multiple rejections from both the hourly EMA ribbons, and you can also see 4 hourly EMA ribbons haven't fully loaded in, but the short-term moving averages like the 21 EMA, 25, 30, etc. have started to load in. So you can see that we have come up on the 4 hourly time frame into these EMA ribbons and started to break down. Because of these many reasons, also like I said, this head and shoulders pattern breaking down, we were predicting a move from $1.15 all the way down to 77 cents. Now it seems like we've hit that target on the head, but we actually overshot it a bit. So we did come down 32.5% just like we predicted, but we also broke below the 2.618 Fibonacci. You can see from this move down to the low to the high, we yielded with the 1.618. This was, we broke below it, bounced up to it, got rejected, came down to the 2.618, but we capitulated about 9.5% more than predicted, which is completely fine. It still does look like, in my opinion, we are very, very likely to break down another couple of steps. Let's talk about what I see playing out right now. For this video specifically, we're just going to quickly jump into the USD chart and the BTC chart, see how it's performing against both of those pairs. So 4 hourly time frame, obviously there's only so much we can trade based on this chart, because no matter what chart you look at, unfortunately on TradingView, this hasn't been out for a plethora of time. Over on CoinMarketCap, the furthest this goes back is literally like just over a week or so. So really not a ton of data traded on this. However, looking at the 4 hourly time frame, it seems like within the last 12 hours, or sorry, the past daily time frame, the past 3 days, volume has been exponentially increasing to the upside, which is definitely not a good sign. Volume is predictive of price. So when you see bearish volume stack up and accumulate to the upside like this, it's typically a sign that you're going to break back down to lower prices. Now the squeeze mom as well, this is our momentum indicator of choice. A lot of people use the MACD. I prefer this. This is heavily moving to the downside. When this is in its light red phase, this simply means that bears are in full swing, full control of the market. And we keep on having these bounces where we come up, we have like a rounded bounce, break down, come up, rounded bounce, break down, come up, rounded bounce, and it looks like we're getting ready for that next breakdown. The level that if you were looking for us to W out or have any chance of a bounce would probably be the 77 cent, at least from the Fibonacci perspective. From this low to this high, you can also see 618 fib perfectly lines up with this 618 Fibonacci here. So we've got a double fib here, double golden pocket, 2.618 and the 0.618 right here on 77 cents. So this orange box is basically what needs to hold. I have this orange box because this constitutes basically the 0.5 to the 786 Fibonacci. These are the most important areas over on the chart. So if you do see us break below this big support box that we've got between the ranges of 80 cent, but more specifically, I'd be looking at 74 cent, which it really isn't too much of a big range. From where we are right now, it would literally only be about a 9.3% drop, and this range is only a 7% range. However, I do think, at least in my opinion, we are likely to keep on breaking back down to the downside. Now, there's a couple of other bearish signals I see. For example, this isn't actually a bearish signal. This is a bullish signal. We had an inverse head and shoulder, but what's bearish about it is, we temporarily broke above the neckline and we got shot right back down. So this is called a failed move, and as I always say in my channel, a failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. We've also come into the EMA ribbons on this, which is just not a good sign. Unfortunately, 13 EMA as well on the daily time frame hasn't loaded in. We should be able to comment on that within the next week. However, I do believe that is going to be bearish. The reason we can't comment on the 13 EMA is because it constitutes 13 days worth of data traded, and at this moment in time we've only got 9 days. So we're really running off a very small chart. So this is really why we have to look into the lower time frames for what we can expect next. We are seeing a tiny bit of bullish momentum step in within the past hour or two, but I really don't think this is going to hold up for a plethora of reasons. Number one, the Bitcoin dominance is still exponentially rising. While this is rising, you should expect Bitcoin to outperform altcoins. Bitcoin, Chop Nation right now, I mean, we've been the same price for a little while, so there's not much to talk about, but the SPY is super, super bearish. And you might be wondering, you know, why am I talking about the stock market while we're covering optimism? Well, the fact of the matter is, if the stock market, right now we're in a diamond top formation. Depending on how you want to draw it, you can actually draw it like this. This would be a tiny bit better. Nonetheless, I'll keep it how it is. This diamond top formation has just broken down. This is a very, very bearish signal in the stock market. Because of this breakdown in the stock market, you can kind of see that Bitcoin is starting to move down as well. So what does this mean? You know, the stock market breaks down, Bitcoin starts to break down, altcoins start to break down, and subsequently Optimism is an altcoin that will probably follow that trend. So I'm expecting lower price targets for Optimism. On the USD pair, we practically covered everything that I want to talk about at this moment in time. The next major level down, you can actually see we've got a 1.618 Fibonacci down here and a 3.618 Fib. So far, these Fib levels have been perfectly respected. We don't have any data yet on how this Fibonacci at 57 cent is going to play out, but this 3.618 down here, considering how well we respected the 1.618 and the 2.618, I do think the move down to 55 cent is very likely. Let's see how much of a breakdown target this would be from here. About another 33%, and once again, you know, like I say, if you do think this is a bearish target, this was pretty much the move that we predicted 48 hours ago or so, and that has come into fruition. So it does seem like, at least in my humble opinion, we are going to be breaking down approximately another 33%. I wouldn't necessarily want to put like an exact timeline on this, but in my opinion, we would be down here within this week. Specifically, I think within the next 3-4 days or so we could be breaking down, so it might be coming into Monday of next week. The crypto markets do like to bounce around and get a little bit choppy over the weekend, so expect this to be coming into fruition within the next week, in my opinion. Now, like I said, US dollar, we covered pretty much everything we need to talk about down here. We're predicting another 33% move on the table. For Optimism against BTC, I really don't want to do a bunch of TA on this. I do just want to highlight that we have capitulated below the lows. You know, a lot of people might look at this and think it's bullish, put it in the inverse chart, and you can see, you know, imagine this was the previous all-time high, rallying above the EMA ribbons, breaking above the all-time high, back testing the all-time high, and ever since then we've been moving up. So this looks like we're breaking into price discovery to the upside, and bear in mind, all we did is flip the chart, so technically we're in price discovery to the downside. I'm expecting Optimism to heavily underperform Bitcoin. If you simply come over to CoinMarketCap, unselect the USD pair and select the BTC pair, you can see Optimism has, you know, it went from 0.00014 of a Bitcoin to almost down to this range at 0.00002. So we've added another zero. And if we do drop a tiny bit more, then we'll be about 90% down against the Bitcoin pair, which is really not good. Actually, from when this minted up here over on Binance, we're down 62% against Bitcoin. So not really looking good in my opinion. We capitulated about 68.5% so far. So I'm not the biggest fan on this chart. Whatever happens in the next hour or two is really not going to affect my price prediction. For example, we can move back up into these EMA ribbons at 86 cent rather. We can even come up to the long-term moving average on the 1 hour at 95 cent before expecting a roll down. Now, this is not what I'm predicting. Bear in mind, I really don't want to predict what is going to happen over the next hour, the next 12 hours or so, but within the next couple of days, within the next 48 hours, 5 to 7 days or so, I do think we are going to be moving down to these lower price targets, unfortunately. So that is basically all I've got for Optimism. I've been saying this in all of my videos recently, but at this moment in time, I'm heavily focused on accumulating Bitcoin and not touching altcoins, because while we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance go up, it is in the name. The Bitcoin dominance is simply the bucket of the total crypto market cap, and the Bitcoin dominance is the percent that Bitcoin takes up of that total crypto market cap. So it makes sense that when the Bitcoin dominance moves up, Bitcoin is taking a higher percent of the total crypto market cap. It does not matter whether the crypto markets move up or down. When the Bitcoin dominance moves up, it simply means Bitcoin's going to outperform altcoins, and it is outperforming altcoins. When it's moving up, that is what it means. We can see this on all of the altcoin BTC pairs, you know, OP against BTC. Prime example of this, 62% down within just 8 days, not even coming on for 9 days yet. So that is all I've got. Be very, very cautious if you are still trading this. As always, not financial advice. Scalway out. Peace.